Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Let's drop that beat.
Drop that beat. Sometimes life don't go your way. Sometimes that's what clears the space. Wins and losses, highs and lows. Sell a club, let's talk about it.
What up, Anna?
Ken, I feel like even though it is August, we need like a fireplace and like club chairs and like some little beverage for this conversation. I feel like it's one of those like
I
life
agree.
talks. You know?
I do feel like this is a cozy moment, and it brings me back to those YouTubers that just build a log cabin in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, right.
And it just so happened they
fun to
build it
watch.
during wintertime. I don't know why. I guess it's leading up to that moment where they could fire up their fireplace and chill. No, I agree. I think I'm very excited about what we're talking about. I think it kind of like lines up to the season we're at individually and collectively, and you know, like we share thoughts and we share kind of like just the different, you know, I guess scenarios and ups and downs, twists and turns in our lives. And I think there's a lot to unpack, and as you guys know, we're the Seller Club podcast. We're as real as it gets. We don't sell you the become a reseller. There's no problems. You'll solve all the life's mystery by selling on eBay.
Right. Yeah.
You can't thrift this. You can't buy this brand new. It is built.
That's right. It's a lot more nuanced for sure.
Yeah. So, well, like, I'm liking the let's get right into it moment, because I
You mean
feel
you
like
don't want to talk about snacks?
no snacks.
No
You
snacks?
know, put it this way: grab your snacks, relax, and join us as we have this conversation. And as we try to extrapolate everything that we have in our minds and in our brains, and we hope that you ask these questions to yourself as well. That way, we can either solve or we can be at peace on a lot of things that's going on in our lives.
Yeah. Solve it or accept it.
Yeah.
Something.
As long as
Something
you
in
got
between
snacks.
there.
Yeah, as long as you got snacks.
Right. Well, I'm for that. I think we can definitely get right into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also excited about this topic. If you don't know, if you're listening to this and you don't know, Ken and I are really good friends. We talk all the time, even not on the air.
Right.
Way more off the air than on the
Yeah,
air.
we became friends before the podcast.
Yes, for sure, for years. And so I feel like this conversation, obviously it's a little bit of, you know, the middle of the year thing where you're kind of like looking back over the year and reflecting on things. But also, like, some stuff has happened in the recent past in both of our lives. And, you know, you were out of the country for a few weeks.
Right.
So I feel like once you came back and we were just catching up about things in general, we ended up detouring into this whole area, talking about this stuff, and thought, man, we need to talk about this on the air. So here we are. It's everyone's favorite subject, disappointment.
Yeah, exactly.
So uplifting.
Well, I think the word itself, I think has a lot of, I guess it's a negative connotation.
For sure it does, yeah.
Right? It's not appointment. It's not appointed. It's dis.
Right.
Right?
Disappointed.
So it's not what you wanted to happen. But also looking back, a lot of the stuff that we actually have and have going for us are a lot of things that we never really appointed to begin with, right? Like, I think going back to my eBay journey, 9 years ago, my goal was to only hit $100,000 in sales yearly. And every year I just be like, okay, how much more can I get done? How much more can I sell?
Right.
And part of that was social media. I didn't appoint social media. I just use it to stalk people, to find bolos
To learn.
from
Yes.
their finds, right? Like,
Right.
yeah, learn, aka stalk. Like,
Yeah.
stay away from their city, or there's no hustler in this city. I'm in there. So that's gonna. So yeah, like when I hear the word disappointment, it's not really directly correlated to just a failing part or a failing venture, but it's more of like, maybe you haven't thought about this, and or you've thought about that and it's not something that you wanted anyway, or you wanted and you ended up not wanting it.
Yeah.
It could be a disappointment.
Well, for sure. I mean, I think that in and of itself can be, because to me, disappointment, like the heart of disappointment, is about reality not matching your hope or your expectation for something. But like you said, sometimes it can even be like, oh, I thought this was what I wanted, and then
Right.
it turns out that it's not. And that in and of itself is like a disappointment, because this was your goal for a long time, or
Right,
you thought
right.
this was going to, solve something or arrive at something or validate something, and it just kind of was empty at the top, right?
Yeah, and
That's like one flavor for sure.
yeah, I think one of the things that I thought about too is like, maybe we expect things to happen once the prerequisite has been
Yes.
accomplished.
I'll
right?
be
Like,
happy when. I'll
right,
be satisfied
or like
when.
I'll
Yeah.
my just say except like one of the things that I've talked about during our early years of hustling with eBay, I've been to the beach more than when I had less money than now.
Yeah.
And back then I was like, man, if I double my business, if I triple my business, that means I could double the beach time. I could triple the trips. And then you get to the place where you wanted to head, and then you expect those trips to happen and book themselves. No, you actually have to book it more, and all of a sudden now you're like, wait, I can't do that trip. I'm busy. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. So it really becomes, the issue of time, availability, and priority.
Yep.
Right? Like back then, my ultimate priority was to be able to go to all the places I want whenever I want. And then, but at the same time, I gotta make the financial ends meet. You get the financial ends meet. Now you can't go to the places you want. So
Right.
that, like, because it's not, what, right? Is that the word? Right? They don't happen by themselves. It's like you have to do it yourself.
Yeah, and it's kind of like more orchestrating at that point. It's
Right.
more, it's a more complicated picture overall, right? Or
Mhm.
maybe
Yeah.
your business is more demanding, or by
Yeah.
the time you get there, a lot of circumstances in your life have changed.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot to that. I mean, I'm glad that you mentioned time. I think when I think about this topic in my own life, having time is like a big part of what I've experienced this year. In a way that I didn't expect to be disappointing. But yeah, that I feel like that is something that is such a premium running our businesses, and also, running a reselling business. I think we get so much, like it or not, we get so much satisfaction and like dopamine hits from
Right.
spending money, like even
Yeah.
just spending money in the business or whatever. It's like, oh, well then, if your revenue changes or some of your income streams dry up or whatever, like now
Right.
you're maybe need to spend less money, and then it's this
Yeah.
cycle of disappointment, right? So, and
Yep.
I think a lot of people have experienced that with, their overall sales being slow, even just in the summertime
Right.
or whatever. But I've heard people, kind of talking about that throughout this year. And that's always a struggle for resellers, because we know that if we're not getting more inventory, we're not going to be making more money. So it's like a cycle,
Right.
But I think we do have to separate our like contentment and our joy from spending money also, like in general, right? We just get in the habit of that.
Yeah, I think that's a big challenge when you mention that your contentment and joy has to be separate from just the performance of your business.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Or the performance of yourself,
true.
I'm
right?
not the
Like,
only person addicted to productivity.
Yeah,
Sure.
100%. Right, like I think a lot a lot of times, you end your day and be like, I wonder how many listings we've done. And then you'll be like, wait, I was so busy and that's all we were able to put up.
Yeah.
JC understands it more than anybody in the business, that I'm like, that's it? Like,
Yeah.
and at the
all
same
that
time,
work for what? Yeah.
and then she's like, yeah, but we organized for 2 hours. We sourced for 4 hours,
right.
like
It was a full
we
day.
work out for an hour, right? Like, and then you add it all up. It's like, oh, golly, right? And I think, for this year to kind of just like, for everybody that hasn't been following, 2026 came, and 2025 was our best year in our business, and like the question is like, how are you gonna top it off in 26?
Right.
And
You were like setting new expectations.
right, and it's like, wait, that was possible, and we still did all that with that, and then again, just the, I guess, the addictive nature of wanting more because you were able to do so,
Yeah.
kind of just like kicked in a little bit, and I finally said it. This is the first year that by design I said, if we just run it back, we do the same thing, plus minus 10-15%, I'm good. But also with a caveat of, I want to have more time to myself. I want to
Yeah.
have time to ourselves. I want to go back to cooking my own meals. I want to go back to working out, picking my own schedule, and making it a priority and scheduling things around it. I want to take the trips that I want to get done. Going in, I knew that, it was my dad's 60th birthday this year. We made that happen. And we kind of like pivoted into business, made sure that for the first time we had somebody ship for us while we were gone.
Yeah.
So just different changes that would have, if I measured myself based on like the last X amount of years and performance, this year would be a disappointing year, in data and number, but
Yeah.
so far it's, I've never felt better. I've never felt happier. It's definitely a simpler life, which is I've ultimately wanted, really.
Yeah. It's like the measuring stick kind of changed, right?
Yeah, and like taking a hold of the measuring stick again. I think for a lot of times, like especially for people that, when you're very extroverted, you have a lot of people you talk to, social media, you're engulfed in it. The measuring stick is held by so many people, and then sometimes you're just keeping up with the Joneses, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And trying, if that was success for them, what is success for me too? And it's just that constant growth battle, and I'm like, maybe growth is not bigger, maybe growth is trying to become deeper, creating a more sustainable life, right? I mean, we're not that old yet, but I want to have a
Don't tell me you're feeling old.
no, I don't feel old, but also like the reality of it, our prime years are gonna
Yeah.
be less and less
Oh,
over
yeah.
time, and I was like, and also too, like, you hear stories that some of them don't even get to use all their prime years,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, and that's kind of like where, I'm setting the stage for where I'm at, where it could feel disappointing, but ultimately, like, I'm not disappointed at all, but looking from the outside,
Yeah.
or like the data might not show, satisfaction and achievement.
Yeah, like you might not assume, right?
Yeah.
And, which
Yeah.
is interesting because I think it's so important to remember that you are in charge of the measuring stick, and
Yeah.
changing the measuring stick doesn't mean lowering your standards.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
that's totally missing the point if that's
Right.
what you're hearing. Like, it's not just like reducing your expectations,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or like making it smaller. It's more like realignment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Realigning with your purpose and your priorities.
Right.
But, to segue a little bit into my take on this topic.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's not just a matter of, getting out the measuring stick and reevaluating things and measuring differently. Sometimes stuff happens that's not in your control. And then you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that it's important even in situations like that to remember and exercise your agency, because we all have circumstances we can't control, right? Like, that's not unique in any way, but that is a little bit different than just like, I'm going to adjust the goalpost, or I'm going to adjust the perspective on the goalpost, right? So like for me, this has been really interesting. I'm sure if you have been listening to this podcast, you know that Ken and I are both like doers. We're like tend to be busy, tend to have a full kind of life, which is great. I do love that. And, that is not a problem in and of itself, but I always am like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time. Not to mention I have pretty bad time blindness for like tasks. But, I'm always like, I've got a bunch of irons in the fire. I've got a bunch of projects I love working on. Like, outside of reselling, there's a lot of other stuff that I do that I really love to do. And so as I was kind of in the middle of this year, looking back on this year, like, so many cool things have happened. My business is doing well, and kind of I've made some big moves with like cross-listing and my inventory check, and just my sourcing has leveled up. Like, there's been a lot of really positive stuff in my business and in my life. But as I was kind of thinking about this, during the summer, and I'm looking back at the first half of the year, like, there have also been a significant number of like significant doors closing, like unexpectedly doors closing. And that's a bummer. Like, we love a door when it opens. Like,
exactly,
wow, this opportunity, right?
Yeah,
But,
and then it's not like you wanted to close it. It got
I
closed
didn't
on you.
close it. Yeah, I was not about to close that door. Right, exactly. So I started kind of like reflecting on that and counting up, like, dang, this door closed, and then a few months later this door closed, and I mean, none of it was really for any really bad reasons or anything. Just it just happened, right? Other people making decisions that I didn't have any influence over, that maybe didn't even consider me, frankly.
Right.
Fine, like, that's life, whatever. But I was like taking all that in stride. I think as somebody who's running a business, and I take comfort in having like multiple income streams too, because then that's less pressure on my business. But, my effort is spread thinner also. Right. So that's always the trade-off, right? But anyway, some of these doors were attached to other income streams. So that was a little bit like jarring on just the personal finance side. But it's fine. Like, it's all good. Paying the bills, no problem. Maybe not spending as much, like I was saying earlier. That's like, got to recalibrate that a little bit. But then recently there was just a kicker where there was a project that I am so in love with. I've been doing this writing project.
Right?
Huh?
Yeah. It's a passion project.
Oh, yes,
right?
totally.
Yeah.
Literally been doing it half of my life for 18 years. I've been working on this writing project every year, and I love it so much. And I was like unceremoniously dismissed from it. And it was a huge, like, that one hurt. Like, the other doors were like a bummer. This door was like an actual heartbreak. And it slammed shut. And it was just, that kind of sent me reeling and made me look back at all of this other stuff. Like, man, another door. Like, and this door, I would have never thought. Like, I would have never expected it to randomly close on its own, much less like slam in my face the way that it did. So that was a huge disappointment. But, I realized, maybe with some of the other things, like, they were easier to accept right away, or like took me less time to process because I wasn't really grieving anything. But I had such a hard time with this one because I was really grieving it. I mean, it's still pretty fresh, honestly. Like, it just happened in the last few weeks. But
and it's a once a year gig that you expect yearly to happen, and
it is.
The ramp up of excitement is about to happen.
I look forward
now.
to it every year. Like, it's a very creative project that is just so fun for me. But so it's like I couldn't really see the gift of that door slamming shut in my face because I was too like wrapped up in the grief about it for at the beginning, right? Like for the first few days or so, first week or so, I would say. But now the gift that I see is like, wow, I was planning on spending like probably 50 hours on that project in the next month or two.
Right.
I just got 50 hours back.
Yeah, you got a 10-hour day off every week for the next 5 weeks.
That's amazing.
How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Right. And knowing Anna, I've always been like the person that puts the brakes on her and like, yo, like, remember, you're a solo operator in this business.
And I'm like, maybe if I try hard enough, I will split into two.
You'll have more time. Like, no, you can't have more time.
I know.
And again, it's hard, like, looking at your situation because it's a passion project, right? Like I know you count hours, but when I get into passion projects, you don't count hours.
For
right?
sure. I track the hours and I build for the hours, but it was not like a real paycheck. Like,
right. It's like you would.
It's a nominal fee.
You would add more hours with, not blinking an eye to it because you really care for that project.
100%.
And that's kind of like that's how I saw it from the outside. But also, when you're talking about time, instantly the one thing that I got out of it, being the less emotional person I am and more logical person I am, I've just thought about like, yo, like, this is the quote unquote the break that you needed off of a project that you can dump into something that's technically the bigger chunk of your whether it's finances or your project as well, like which is your eBay business.
It's kind of like for the higher priority thing,
right? And I'm just like, because the last how many years I've known you, you've always, it's not like you check out, it's just that you're not available, right?
Either because it's available, like the literal time it takes to do the project, like it's just it happens at a certain time of the year, and I block that time so I can knock it out. And
so I'm just like, wait, like, and that's, I guess, you were talking about the gift of time that you're gonna get back out of this closed door moment.
And I think, if anybody is listening to this and relating to this dynamic of what has happened here, like, I also just want to encourage you and myself, like, there's no need to immediately fill up that time with something else either. Like, it is tempting. Like, is it a coincidence that I want to write an additional book this year and now I suddenly have 50 extra hours? And my first book I wrote in 40 hours. So, technically I could just knock that out instead.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But I'm going to say no. Like, that is not how I'm approaching the gift of time that came with this grief, packaged up together with this grief. Right. And this is not a silver lining. This is like a really enormous asset that I now have that I didn't have, that I didn't expect to have the time. Right. Yeah. And so now, anyway, I'm getting excited about that part of it because I really believe, and I have experienced this over and over in my life, even though I'm a busy person and I'm a doer and I have to get out my crowbar sometimes to make time for things, I have seen this happen over and over again, that before the next thing shows up, you can make space for it before it's even here. And I feel like that is the story of my time right now. I'm making space for something and I don't even know what it is, but I'm going to just let that space exist for a while, gonna let it exist for a while. And I even yesterday, Ken, I was out in my shop and I had a bunch of deferred maintenance projects out there because I've been hosting family and busy and whatever. So like I had to like organize my shipping supplies and kind of like whip my new inventory queue into shape a little bit. And I was consolidating some of my bins and things like that. And I physically cleared such a huge amount of space in my shop. And I was like, okay, this is the physical representation of that, Yeah. Whatever it is, I don't know. And I don't know. Maybe it won't even be related to my business, but I am still trying to build up my inventory this year. So I know I'm going to need that space. But in my heart, while I was, making all of that space, I was like, and I'm also making space in here. I'm also
Right.
making space in my
Right.
calendar, in my
Physically.
expectations.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause, like-
You're able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, how often, like you said this to me when we were talking about this off the air, that, you know, sometimes being busy, like it starts out is like exciting and you're being effective and productive, but that can like wane into like you're just distracted and you're just
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
just busy, right?
Yeah.
And it's not fruitful.
Yeah.
And
'Cause-
I know that that's my tendency. It's probably a lot of our tendencies, but
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the time that we live in, right? That the busyness is rewarded. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
we hear stories about it, right? Like, you try to feel busy that way you don't have to really deal with that thing that you need to be dealing with.
yeah.
And I mean, I've experienced it when I work. There were people that stayed clock in and just pretended to be busy and that got patted in the back just
Right.
to get more hours.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, whoa, you know, like, and so it's not that, it's not like a very isolated kind of like thing. It's everywhere around us, and you know, like anything else, if you're surrounded by that kind of environment, all of a sudden it becomes true, right? And it becomes acceptable. Although you might not accept it directly, but it's so easily to fall. It's so easily, you know, falling into that habit or that kind of space. You know, going back to the conversation where I just got back from the Philippines, right? Big moment was, you know, like, oh, maybe if I take 3 weeks off, there'd be that aha moment when I go there, when I
Yes.
get back here, and every time there's always a realization, right? And it's always like, oh, a lot of people's like, oh, I just need a break, and then I'll be refreshed and ready to hit the ground running again.
Right.
Those are words that I've heard over and over again, and whether it may have been true or not, my automatic default was hit the ground running again. And in this time, I came home and Anna said it. It's like, hey, any aha moment? I was like, Anna, you know what's crazy part is that whole time that I was there, just reinforced everything that I've been doing for the last 6 months. I was like, so that means chill out, Ken.
Right.
Relax. You know, everything's fine. Everything's good. Like,
right. It's like, oh man, I didn't expect like more of the same to be the end.
Yeah.
The big like revelation,
yeah,
right?
I guess at the end of the day, it was a big revelation for where I'm at, because
Yeah.
it was a total shift from, it's an opposite reaction to what I've always done.
Yeah.
To a point that when we got back, we're like, oh man, when can I go back and visit family again?
Yeah.
You know, because like obviously you put your money where your mouth is. You put priority in where you say. I said, you know, we all know our parents are not getting any younger. You know, we live busy lives, but I've realized that, man, that 3 weeks that I've spent felt like 3 months.
Yeah.
Because we were all in, we were locked in, and we cleared, all of us, you know, cleared our schedules, and we just chilled with each other. We ate, we laughed, you know, and we did things together. And that was like, wait, like, I want this to be the fruit of our labor and in the result of all the hustles that I've done.
Yeah.
But if I don't make that decision to actually sit down and eat the fruit that I've planted 6 years ago, 8 years ago,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden I'll just, you know, like, you know what the sad story is? The saddest story is a fruit farmer that doesn't get to taste their own fruit because they just kept selling it.
Right.
That's sad.
That is sad.
And sometimes we fall into
missing
that trap.
the point in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, right? Like, we're trying to raise and breed the best variety of mangoes. That's my favorite fruit.
Yeah.
You try to do that, right? And then all of a sudden you finally get the sweetest, the nicest looking mango, and you just sell it to the highest bidder. And you miss the whole point. Like, wait, I didn't even get to enjoy it, right?
You know
Because
what you're
again,
doing right now?
Huh?
You're totally rationalizing me keeping my thrift finds. So be careful with that.
Hey, if you do, make sure it was the best.
That's right. It's a high value.
See?
The value is so high.
See, that's what I'm saying. It gotta be the best, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta be that $2,000 item that you got for $20. You
right.
keep that.
Exactly. Okay,
right?
but
right. You sell the $1,000 item that you found.
right. The second best you can sell.
Exactly.
Well, but back to your point. Like, it strikes me that in the past you have hoped for and maybe even come to expect like some kind of an aha moment.
Yeah.
Partially because that's what you actually needed to like be motivated to get kicked back into high gear when you got home. And now like you didn't have that need.
Yeah.
And therefore you didn't have a revelation. But it's kind of like the chicken or the egg, right? It's like, I don't know, but it somehow works together. And what's interesting about that is like you didn't, the aha moment wasn't needed, so you didn't have one, and you came home and you didn't feel the need to like try to blast through the next ceiling. You're just like, I'm just carrying on. Like it's working well. It's working the way I always wanted it to in the first place, really.
100%. And you know what's like the first project that we've started the moment we got back was literally clear the clutter, make room.
Make room.
Yeah, right. So we're working in our garage currently right now as we're recording, organizing it, getting rid of junk.
Yep.
And getting rid of things that, that should be get rid of, like trash, stuff that you don't use anymore, donate it. And then the other thing is our laundry room, where we have all our shoes, and we may realize that we have too many shoes with only 2 feet. We joke around that we're octopus, and
that's awesome.
And and you fall into it, right? You fall into that, and
you pick up little things along the way, and it builds up. It just happens,
right?
Even to you, who's like 1,000 times more minimalist than me.
Exactly, right. And then like that's what I literally said. I said I want to get back to having a mindset of a minimalist, where I want to keep high quality things that I truly care about, and then the stuff that I just bought because I got influence on Instagram.
Or it was like it was so cheap, or
whatever. It was like, and then because
someone
that's
took
what
your
happened.
lowball offer.
Yeah, somebody took my lowball offer, and I was like, I should just be selling this and get the money out of that.
Right.
So that's kind of like the space where I'm in, like making room, utilizing the time to clear the clutter. I guess for me to have a more peaceful and creative mind.
Yeah.
So
because you don't even know what the next thing that mind is going to be used for.
Yeah.
But you're getting ready for it.
Yeah, give it some rest, right? Like even even working out, you cannot work out 100% every day. You have to you have to have a recovery day. Even the biggest and baddest bodybuilder, they work out for 2 days, they rest. 2 days rest. Do it like that. And then all of a sudden us entrepreneurs think we could just work 9 years straight.
Who do we think we are? I mean, honestly.
What did I say? 24/7.
Oh yeah.
Work 24/7 for 7 years straight.
Yeah, and then you'll have it.
You'll have it.
Then you can and then you can be so used to that it's a almost midlife crisis when you finally have time
everything after that is a disappointment.
Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah.
No, but I think I don't know. It's an interesting conversation, like, in general. I definitely am glad of the timing of this, because not even just for the sake of, like, literally having more hours to work on the book, but I want to talk about this kind of stuff. I mean, if you're listening to this and you don't know, I wrote a book about my store in 2020, wrote it and released it, which was hilarious timing. I started writing it before COVID happened, like really early on in the year. And then, I had a lot of time at home, so I finished it and released it. And that's 6 years ago. Like, so much has changed. May is my 10-year anniversary of running this store. And so much has changed. But even in the first book, it's nuts and bolts of, like, how I ran my store at the time. and some stuff hasn't changed, but a lot of it has. And then also like the why and some of the kind of
Right.
philosophy mindset, like this is not just like a side hustle, it's like a lifestyle. And I quit a career, to do this,
Right.
quote unquote, full time. So it's like not a light decision. So anyway, I talk a lot about that kind of stuff in the first book, and I feel like this next book is not really like a sequel. It's kind of just another touch point in the journey, because I haven't arrived anywhere. Like I'm just in the middle of it still, but further down the road. So it's going to revisit some stuff like this. But, I love these kinds of conversations and just like these topics that do keep us connected to ourselves as like a whole person and a human being that's got a whole life to manage and other goals and dreams and expectations. Like, all of us, whether we acknowledge it or not, are that. Like we're not just a reselling robot that only cares about that and only does that. So I think that is part of what makes it like relatable. But I think I'm gonna look back on this and be like, man, that was really incredibly good timing, even though what kind of kicked it off was a heartbreaking disappointment.
Right. And like, that's why there's a term called hindsight 2020, right? Like hindsight, like looking back at it. I think one of the biggest things that, we all should be aware of, that once you're going through a disappointing season, a disappointing process, or just something that you accomplish that it's not what you hope for, it's not what it feels like, right? Like the numbers line up, but the feelings doesn't.
Yeah.
Always go back to what's true for you, right? Always go back to your priorities. Always go back to what grounds you. Always go back to, like JC always talks about, like, whenever we get overwhelmed, whenever we, see so much clutter, and she always goes back, it's like, babe, I remember when we were just in an apartment, and our goal was to fill up an apartment, and then, and then now we're here, and now we've filled up this section of the house, but it's not the right stuff that we wanted to fill up with, so we need to organize, re-rack. Like you always gotta, and also it's like, something that I've always talked about and live by is like, like you have to be grateful at this certain moments in your life, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
I think like a lot of people say, like, the wisdom and the knowledge comes from experience, and the more disappointments you have had and you're gonna go through, it's just the more lessons that you're gonna learn, and like being a master of your emotions. I think that's
and like
a big part of it.
You definitely develop like a richer perspective. Like I certainly don't want anybody to hear me talking about this and think that I'm saying like, just look for the silver lining, don't worry about it. Like, no, not at all. It's just that, a disappointment or even like grief, like it comes packaged together with other things. And some of those things maybe are good. I mean, I'm just thinking about, like, I don't know. And part of accepting it and like being able to move forward is accepting all of that. It's not just, wallowing in the grief. It's not just kind of bypassing your feelings and being Pollyanna about it, looking at the bright side only. Like, no, you have to accept all of it together.
Yeah.
But I think that is the healthiest way. Yeah. It's not the easiest way, but it's the healthiest way. And, when I think about myself a year ago, I was very busy, and I had taken on a lot of projects and a lot of different things. And I was juggling so many things. And I remember being like, man, I'm doing my best. I'm enjoying all these things. Like, I don't think I was doing like a bad job at any of them, but like, I thought there were so many times that I'd be like, I wish I could just streamline and like focus more on one thing. Like, and my business was one of those things I really wanted to have more time to focus on, and time was the issue. And so, like it, love it, hate it, like the time has been freed up. Were the doors that closed the doors I would have personally chosen to close? No.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, they closed. and my time has been recouped.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so this result is what I wanted.
Right.
It's not
right.
the way I wanted to get the result,
Yeah.
but the result is actually what I was kind of asking for
Well,
last year.
yeah, like they always say, like sometimes fate has its ways to let things happen that way you get to that result that you've always wanted.
Yeah.
Might not be the way you wanted it handled and done.
Right.
And we all we could do is just control the things that we can control.
For sure.
And like I like what you said, it's not one or the other, it's this and that, right? This sucks.
Yeah, it's together.
But that's gonna happen now because this is not here anymore. So
like, hey, that's a bummer, but at least you have plenty of time to ruminate about it. Super helpful.
Yeah, and while you're at it, eat some ice cream. That way you feel better afterwards.
There's so much time to eat ice cream about it.
Yeah. It's perfect timing, summertime. So no, I think it's a healthy conversation for business owners, for hustlers, for people that are trying to achieve something beyond what's given to them or beyond what the society tells them that this is it.
Yep.
I truly believe that the people that wants to achieve more will face more disappointment.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to
move forward. Well, you're risking more, right?
Yeah, you're trying to move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not saying that you're accepting this that to be final.
Right.
That means you're trying to move forward, you're trying to go deeper, go higher, experience new different things. And I think that's one of the things that I've come to realize, moving from a different country to living here, that, a lot of people may say, like, man, like, what did that feel like? And I guess to sum it all up, I was like, yeah, there's been a lot of disappointments. That's how we got here.
Yeah.
It's that journey. So I think, with disappointments, it just makes the wins and the success so much sweeter.
It does. And, now... which is funny. I didn't even really think about this, that you're doing like a parallel process to what I'm doing, but cleaning out the clutter at your house and stuff. I think that now that I'm really aware of this, kind of the gift of time and the opportunity to like make space for something, for the next thing before it happens, before it even makes itself known. Like now I want to double down on that and like. Right. One of the things I think we just talked about last episode was like making a standard operating procedure.
Right.
Using ChatGPT to help me draft that. And I've started on that process. And one thing that it's already done is helped me to make final decisions about what is the best process, or like kind of clear some of the clutter out of my own processes that if you asked me 2 days ago, I would have said, no, that's really dialed in. I only ever do this one way.
Right.
Here's all my thought process behind it. Like, no, there were some stones unturned there. So that's been kind of interesting. But now, this is because I have this time and space, at least a little bit of that. I am focusing more on my business, and I can use some of that focus to tighten it up even more, which is going to in turn create even more space. Becoming
more efficient equals more space and more time.
But all I'm saying is, even if you think you're being efficient, like we both are pretty efficient. You still have a garage of clutter to clean out. I still have crap to clean out, in my life and in my shop.
There's always a room, a corner to fix up, and we try to get to a place where there's none, but I don't think it's ever real. That's just like, kind of like,
it's just always in flux, right?
Yeah, like, it's a moving target, right? Like, and that's us. Like one year we cleaned our closet, and then now the closet needs to be cleaned.
And why does it build up like that? Because of time. When you lack the time, you defer the decisions, and then those decisions pile up in the form of clutter. So
Anna said it best. When you feel like you're hustling on one department, you're slacking on another.
Listen.
And you cannot make more time. It's just our solution of making more time is I'll do that tomorrow, which is not really making time. That's just deferring.
Deferring.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, that's why we all have a junk drawer, we all have a junk closet. Hopefully you don't have a junk eBay store.
Hopefully
'Cause
not.
then you gotta get your eBay store straight
Yeah.
ASAP.
That is not the
Um,
goal.
yeah, exactly. So no, I mean, it might not be that long, it might not be that short for this episode, but hopefully you guys were able to follow through with the roller coaster of stories that we've got for you.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so too. Like, this is. I love when we have these occasional, like, mindset episodes that kind of just. They feel way more like just the conversation that we have with each
Yeah.
other off the air, because
Right.
I know that that is relatable, and we know each other really well, so it's easy for us to follow what each other's
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
But hopefully everybody has been able to follow along with us, and I hope that everybody finds a little bit of encouragement
Right.
about a disappointment that they've had in their life this year, because
Mm-hmm.
if you're a human being living on planet Earth right now, like, you've had
Yeah.
a disappointment this year, you know, and maybe you've been trying to avoid it or bury it. Maybe you've been stuck in it, you
Mhm.
know, and you don't have to stay in either of those
No,
places.
I think that's how I cope. When there's maybe not scope, not the right word, coping, but it's like how I move forward is
Yeah.
to truly make use of that replacement time, right?
Mhm.
Because now this is not happening, so I have this. What can I do it with?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it's a little bit of a redemption story.
Right.
You're
right.
going to redeem that for something better.
Yeah, redeem it for something better. Redeem it for something that sometimes just doesn't have a monetary value, but it has a whole lot of emotional value and relationship value that you can either invest or get back.
Right.
Because we can't get time back. We can now if you do something about it.
Right. You can on the front end, right?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it's true. Yeah, and I mean, if you're working on efficiencies in your business and stuff, like, you know, I didn't even think about this till right now, but something that obviously making the standard operating procedures manual has done, like I said, has helped me to identify areas where I can be more efficient. But also, once this thing is done, I'm going to be more equipped than I've ever been to
Right.
hire someone to do any part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
So that is like a huge
Then you
asset.
could get more
also.
time.
Exactly. It's like I can really triple down on it if I want.
Right.
So maybe I will. We'll see.
Right.
I'll keep you posted.
So there you have it. A whole episode about disappointment. I'm just joking.
Hope you're not
About-
disappointed.
A whole episode of how we handle disappointment and how we can all grow through it and use it as something to take us to the next season of our lives and our business and our journey and our relationships. And again, we want to say a huge shout out to Seller Ledger for sponsoring this podcast. Get your books straight. Make sure you check them out. Follow them on Instagram at Seller Ledger. And we will see you in the next episode. Peace.
Bye.
Thought I knew where the road would go. Had the plan, had it all mapped out. Then the door closed that I would've left open. Funny how life works it out. You can count every win on paper, still wonder why it don't feel right. Maybe growing ain't always getting bigger, maybe deeper is the better life. So clear a little space, let the old things go. You don't have to fill it just because there's room. Make some room for whatever comes next. You don't need the answers yet. You don't need another plan. Make some room. Let tomorrow take its time. Some things leave your life so something better can arrive. Yeah. We work so hard growing the garden, selling every fruit from the tree. What's the point of growing the sweetest mango if you never save one to eat? Take the trip, sit around the table, laugh until you lose track of time. Success ain't only what you're building, it's getting to enjoy what's already mine. Every closed door ain't the end of the road. Sometimes losing something lightens up comes next. You don't need the answers yet. You don't need another plan. Make some room. Let tomorrow take its time. Something leave your life so something better can arrive. Yeah, maybe the numbers don't look better, but you feel better. Maybe you didn't choose the door that closed. Maybe 50 hours came back and you don't gotta spend them yet. Clear the garage, clear your calendar, clear your head. Sometimes growth ain't more. Sometimes growth is space. Make some room for whatever comes next. Take the disappointment and redeem it for something better. You ain't gotta know what's next. Take your time, live your life, and enjoy what you built. The hustle will still be there tomorrow.